My name is Brian Whitledge, and I am the archivist for University Digital Records here at the Clarke Historical Library at Central Michigan University. Today, we will be talking about one of the greatest engineering feats, not just in the Great Lakes, but probably ever. Generally, when people think archives, they tend to think a box full of. And in this case, we have a server full of. But it's still very important because when people want high-resolution pictures of the Soo Locks in its construction, we are the source to provide digital copies of that. The negatives were shot late 19th and early 20th century. The Clarke was contracted by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to digitize these negatives. And so I spent 11 days in Sault Ste. Marie in January of 2016 digitizing these negatives. Because of the quality of the scans that we produce, the hope is that they never have to be touched ever again, and that the digitized copies are what can be used for future researchers, for the Army Corps when they need to, or for anybody who's interested. What I have here are some glass plate negatives filmed by a gentleman named Otto Soup, who happened to be in Sault Ste. Marie in the early 20th century and has slides of the locks. These are not the National Archives locks, but they are essentially what you would find as a glass plate negative. And they document all sorts, from the most mundane, which would be an ice survey, to what most people think of when they think of the locks, which are boats locking through, but also construction, so seeing the pits being dug, seeing the cofferdams be constructed. And then the maintenance, which are my favorite pictures. Maintenance happens in the winter when the locks are shut down, which is the middle of January to about the middle of March. And the people who work on the locks get there in that extremely cold weather. They drain the lock pits and they work on them. They fill holes, they scrape ice, they repair wear and tear. Very difficult, but very important work. And they're my favorite pictures because you can see the depth of the lock. Those lock pits are enormous and you have no concept of how big they are until you can see a little person at the bottom of a 50-foot tall lock pit.